Midori, welcome to the Further Forward podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, Ashley.
I'm so excited to have you. I'm excited to get to know you. Happy birthday. And
Thank
how are
you.
you? How are you coming to us today? How are you really?
Ugh, I feel full.
Mm,
I feel so full. I'm excited on all of the different opportunities and things that are coming my way. I'm excited with the person I'm becoming and um I'm genuinely happy and in a really good spot. So I'm excited to be here.
you are literally glowing, I will say. So the people need to
Thank you.
watch this on YouTube so that they can see your full aura. You really do look so full and genuinely joyful, and I love to see it, especially in a Black woman. And I even think, the world is always so harsh, and there's
Right.
always so many images that we see that are just horrible. So
Yes.
to see you, which I know that you hold in some capacity because we all do, but to see you still being able to step into yourself
Yeah.
is just it's beautiful to me. It's just to me a signal of what our people do. It's just how we are.
Yes. And I've had to be super protective of
I
my energy. And,
bet.
the world is not a very happy place, especially right now.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been super protective of my energy, super protective of my time, who I'm spending it with,
Mhm. Mhm.
and just really making sure I'm nourishing myself daily.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so
Yeah.
I feel good and I am joyful. I'm happy. I
Good.
really am.
Good. So for people who are just meeting you, who are you? Who is Midori? What do we need to know?
Oh my goodness. I am a holistic health coach.
Mhm.
I'm a fitness coach. I'm a Pilates instructor, um, daughter, sister, friend, all of those things.
Mhm.
And I have been in the health wellness space for over a decade now. Um, I have my own health and wellness company called MADSoleful.
Mhm.
I started that almost 8 years ago and have been working for myself ever since.
Mhm.
And I have a passion for helping people become their best selves
Yeah.
and seeing their full potential. So that's just a little about me.
Okay. We love it. We love it. We know that you're an Aquarius. So got
Yes.
it. Great.
Yeah.
Aquarius season. I want to go back. You've been in this industry a little over a decade.
hmm
What did you originally want to do? Was fitness or health and wellness always the goal? Or take me back to little Midori. What was she doing? Who did she want to become?
So originally I wanted to be a teacher.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
I went to school for elementary education and I wasn't actually loving that, and I was actually doing really poorly in school. My mental health was suffering at the time. I wasn't taking care of myself. And I had actually spoken to a doctor, and they were like, well, we can go down the route of, antidepressants
Mhm.
or different medications. And I have a family history of mental health issues, every metabolic chronic disease you can think of. So I was like, I don't want to go that way. Like, let me just explore and see if there's a different way I can go. So I started exercising and I noticed I felt really good.
Mhm.
Um, any depression I had went away. I started doing much better in school and I was spending all my time studying exercise. So I ended up pivoting to exercise science my senior year.
Okay.
And yes, I had to do an extra year and a half of school, two summer sessions, two internships. So it was a lot of work.
It
Senior
cost
year,
you something. It cost
yes,
you
it
something.
costs a lot. My parents were
Yeah.
thrilled.
I'm
Um,
sure. I'm sure.
and yeah, ever since that, I've, kind of been just teaching
Mhm.
and exploring my own greatness as well.
Mm.
I got into running, I got into bodybuilding. Um, and have really gone down the route of how fueling our bodies can really nourish us from the inside out. So I've gone down a couple of different tracks and haven't looked back ever since.
Love it, love it. Why did you want to be a teacher at first?
Honestly, a lot of my family members are teachers.
Ah, okay, okay.
So I was like, well, this is what we do.
Mhm.
And um I'm also the oldest granddaughter of 9. So
Oh,
I grew up, taking care of all of my little cousins.
okay.
And I was like, well, I love kids. It's different when you're, taking care of family members versus like
Mhm.
everybody's kids,
Well, a
right?
little bit different. Yep, slightly to the left.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. So I
Um,
had to learn that the hard way when you start getting into the classrooms and um, just seeing the discrepancies and
mhm.
the deficits that are in our education system.
Yeah, it's tough.
Um,
It's tough.
and I knew if I stayed, not that I didn't think I would be a good teacher, but I knew it was going to suck the life out of me.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, so I pivoted.
Wow. So, essentially, it's almost like the universe was like, "Nope, girl, we're just gonna make this so horrible for you that
Yeah,
you make another choice so that you can end up where you're supposed to be," which
exactly.
probably sucked in the moment, but you got to where you needed to go.
It's what I needed.
Yeah.
I've kind of felt like I've been guided by some divine source power,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and just listening to that little inner voice has kind of led me down different paths. So,
Okay. I think this is important because
mm,
we all have this inner voice. I'm going off on a tangent. Everyone
I
listening,
love
this
this.
is not a part of any line of questioning, but, like, everybody who's been listening knows how my brain works at this point. So we all have this voice, whether you wanna describe it as a voice or a gut feeling or a
Mhm.
moment of serendipity, like maybe you get sick or maybe you feel depressed and that leads you to, like, another path, but we don't always listen to this voice.
Mhm.
Don't always believe that maybe this voice is the true voice because there
Yes.
are all these other things in life getting in the way all of the time and obligations and people pleasing and da da da. So, how do you listen to your voice? How do you clear space to kind of know that that is your higher self kind of pulling you along?
That is such a good question. And I feel like there's two parts.
Mhm,
One, you have to give yourself the space to sit and listen.
mhm,
Um, and I believe our bodies are always talking to us,
uh,
rather we're paying attention or not. Um, and for me, it always has showed up that voice, but it's also accompanied with a feeling. Like it
okay,
feels like I'm floating. It feels like I can't get my feet on the ground. Nothing feels stable. And so when I have those feelings, I'm like, ooh, something is off. So for me, I thought that was showing up as depression and anxiety in college, right?
uh-huh,
But even now, although I'm not struggling with depression, I will get that uneasy, I'm floating feeling,
mhm,
and that's when I give myself the space to listen, which means for me not being as busy.
yeah,
It
yeah,
means like actually like taking the time, giving myself space, clearing my schedule, um, being super protective of who I'm spending my time with. Um, So I hope that's answering the question. But
yeah,
for
it
me, it's
is.
like just paying attention to how I'm feeling and then listening to that inner voice that's coming through. And then also having the courage to actually take action
Well,
on the
yes,
things that
that's
are coming through.
yeah, that would be the other part. Yeah,
Yes.
I keep circling this, that's why I asked you because I I know intuitively that the only way to hear that voice is to kind of, like, be bored, right?
Yes.
You're younger than me, but you're not that much younger than me that you wouldn't remember kind of like you didn't grow up with social media either, right? The
Yes.
way my son's gonna grow up with it, right? So there were these moments where you could kind of go outside and play or read a book or watch TV,
Mhm.
but these options to steal your attention were not available. So
Yes.
I kind of die on this hill of slowing down and being bored, and I feel like everyone rolls their eyes at me because
No.
there's so much to do, and I'm like, "I get it, but you can't go like, how do you move forward if you don't know where the fuck you're going? Like, how do
Yes.
you right? Because it's just so much noise." So, first of all, I feel validated, thank you. But it does answer the question because it's gonna be personal for everybody, but it just keeps confirming the fact that there's no other way than making space for that.
Yes, and there literally is no other way because you can sit there and ignore it and ignore it and ignore it, but it's gonna keep showing up in your body. It's gonna show up as sickness, it's gonna show up as anxiety, it's gonna show up as depression. Um, it's gonna show up as, just this feeling of maybe no feelings, like,
Yeah.
there is no avoiding it. So you might as well slow down and sit with it. For me, it's journaling.
Mhm.
I like to walk a
Yeah,
ton.
yeah.
It sounds really weird, but I also like to color. Like, it's just
So
like
do I. What? I love
okay.
coloring books. Girl, no. It is so soothing.
Okay, it's not just me.
No, it's not just you. It's not just you. I love it.
Yeah, so I give myself the space to be bored and learning how to get comfortable with just being by myself. Like, that alone time right now in this stage of my life is so sacred to me.
Mhm.
Um, and I need it. Like,
I do.
I don't go a week without that. I know that's might change as my life changes, or it might look
Yeah.
different, or maybe it's not as long or whatever, but um that alone time, that time to sit, that time to brainstorm, that time to just kind of let my thoughts come through,
Mhm.
so important.
I agree. I agree. So now, how did you decide that you were gonna it if I'm thinking about the timelines correctly, it feels like a lot of things happen in relatively quick succession, like within a couple of years. So, what made you decide to create Mad Soulful, and what did it look like in the beginning versus what it looks like now?
Oh, so I feel like I have to like go 10 steps back
Okay, do
to
that.
bring
Let's
it
go.
all back in. So I hope
Okay.
you're okay with me just,
I'm
you
ready.
know. Okay, so I was a fitness instructor at a boutique fitness studio for years. I absolutely loved it. Quickly moved up the ranks to assistant leader, then eventually leader of the studio, and was kind of helping to grow the business because then we started opening other studios.
Okay.
And, when you first start off as an instructor, you're just like, it's all passion, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
So
it's
happy to be
all, it's like, it was the most unbelievable time of my life because I learned so much about myself and I just loved getting on the mats. I loved, getting down with people, doing push ups, getting people to push themselves harder. Um, and then once you start to get into the other side of it, the business part of it, the numbers part of it,
there. Mhm.
uh, that part wasn't ever as much fun for me. But
Agree.
I did love, helping other instructors to become better and kind of mentoring them. Like that part of it, I absolutely loved. So once you start teaching classes, and I was teaching, three, four classes a day, every single day, I was working 60, 70 hours a week.
God.
Insane. Somehow in between that, I was also like, training for marathons and doing bodybuilding and still no clue how I was doing any of those
Right.
things. I started giving myself projects outside of what I was assigned to do because I was also getting bored. Like I could teach my class with my eyes closed at that point.
Mhm.
I knew how to keep the studio going. So at that point, I was like, well, I'm fluttering again. I'm floating. And this doesn't feel, I'm not grounded right now. This
Yeah.
doesn't feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
And I'm almost like I was bored. And I feel like for me, anything that I'm doing, I need to have focus. I need to have alignment. I need to feel engaged in whatever I'm doing. And I wasn't anymore.
Right.
And so I was like, I think it's time for me to leave. And I started. my own business. I was training people out of a gym, and
Okay.
then COVID happened.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so it's like I left, business was booming, like, I have to say, like, I had an incredible start, like, I was, booked and blessed, right? Like,
Right.
and then COVID happened, and that was a lot of adapting.
Yeah.
That was a lot of pivoting, that was a lot of, doing things online and, training outside at tracks with people, and, it actually ended up leading me to turning my parents' two-car garage into a private studio.
Ah, okay.
So from there, I had to clear everything out, put
Yeah.
floors down, paint, get a whole bunch of equipment. Um, and all of my clients loved it.
Wow.
And they didn't want to go back to a gym because it was a private studio. So they were like, well, everything that's in a gym is here. So why would we go
Right,
back?
right.
And I had spoken to a couple of different trainers who had their own studios, and I had a lot of conversations with them, and they were like, if you're happy, stay where you are.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm really happy. So,
Yeah,
so right now I've been training people there, and then I'm also doing online coaching as well.
great.
And then I also teach Pilates. So that's kind of been the history of
Wow,
uh,
okay.
me and my business, and really getting great at online coaching
Mhm.
and the struggles that come with that as well.
Yeah, what is
Has
that?
been
Like, are you, like, on Zoom with people telling them what to do in real time, or are they following a program or
Yeah. So for my online business, I have been coached as well because I've gone through bodybuilding, and all of that was online. So there were things that I noticed that I didn't like,
Mhm.
ways that I didn't feel like I was getting the support that I needed.
Yeah.
Um, and I think just messaging back and forth to your coach isn't enough, or at least it wasn't enough for me. It's not, I need that one on one connection. I need to be seen. I need to know that you're actually hearing me and you're understanding what I'm going through. So my coaching is online through an app.
Okay.
However, we have weekly check-in calls.
Okay.
Some clients prefer to do a Zoom, so we do Zoom calls as well.
Mhm.
You're getting weekly check-ins. I have a program that I'm building out for you that's very specific to what you have at home or what's available at your gym.
Okay.
I also do virtual sessions with people. So although this is online programming, it's very much involved,
Gotcha.
which is very different than what you're seeing when you just go online and somebody gives you a cookie cutter plan that you follow.
Totally. Yeah, yeah. And then where do you teach Pilates? How does that fit into your
I know
your
everything, right?
yeah.
So I teach Pilates at Club Pilates in
Okay.
Linfield and in Assembly.
Nice.
And I love it.
Yeah.
It's kind of meshed into my schedule right now. So we'll have like morning private clients, and then I'll go teach a couple of classes, and I'll come back in the afternoon and
Okay.
finish my clients. So
Wonderful.
none of my days look the same, which I love.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, the road to Pilates has also been very interesting for me as well because I've gone, the strength coach route, and I have
Mhm.
been strictly in, strength and conditioning for a
Mhm.
while. But after my last bodybuilding show, I was kind of burnt out from the gym, but I knew I needed to keep moving. So
Yes.
I took a Pilates class,
Gotcha.
and I was
Yep.
like, what is
I
this?
know. Yeah.
What is happening in my body? I've never felt this connected before. I've
Mhm.
never felt this regulated. Something is going on here.
Yeah.
Took 20 classes and signed up for instructor training.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And now
So
here you
that,
are.
and now here I am. Yep. So all the Pilates stuff is in person.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for like private coaching, one-on-one coaching, that's going to be online. Um, right now, I'm not really accepting any more clients in person. Just my schedule doesn't allow it. So
Yeah.
most of it's online.
Wow. Wow, fantastic. Also agree with Pilates 100%. So now, okay, this is all like so wonderful and shiny and happy. Tell me everything that was fucked up because because we know that it's not easy. So, I want to talk about pivoting during COVID. Let's start there.
Mhm.
were you afraid the bubble would burst and everyone would go online and then everyone would come off of line and just go back to the way it was? Or
Yeah.
um, did you have to beg your parents for that space or were they open for it? Like, what are some of the challenges that you had when you first had to pivot during COVID?
I think because I had was so new with running a business on my own,
Mhm.
a lot of it was just I was naive. Like I was like I had like this blind naive of like, okay, this is what we're doing now and this is where we're gonna pivot. I was terrified because at the time, I left my full-time job.
Right.
Um, and I needed to get health insurance and I needed, different insurances and like I had no idea how to figure this out. So I was kind of just learning as I went.
Yeah.
And I think I was just so I wanted to make this happen so bad that there was no other option.
Ooh,
Like
I love that.
quitting wasn't an option, not doing this wasn't an option. So I was always going to find a way. Didn't know what that way was going to look like.
Right.
Um and when gyms still weren't opening up, but we could train outside, I had asked my parents if I could use the garage. They were not using their garage.
Okay.
Thank goodness. It was just an empty space filled with, you know, 30 years of stuff that they
Right.
haven't touched in
Right.
forever long. So, took quite a few dumpsters to get rid of all the stuff that they didn't need. And they've been super supportive. And I feel super privileged that I have been able to do that and kind of
Yeah.
make that space whatever I want it to be. Um,
Awesome.
but it not happening was never gonna be an option. If I had to go online, then I was gonna go online, but for me, quitting would be failure, and
Yeah.
you can't fail if you don't quit, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like
No, I love that and I appreciate that so much because I know that anyone listening that is starting something or wants to start something, there's so much uncertainty that it can be really scary.
mhm,
And what I'm hearing from you is just kind of like you push through. I was just saying to someone yesterday, it's not the same, but this is just the connection I'm making in my brain. She was asking how I was doing because it's so cold. And I'm like, I'm not allowing myself to be affected by the cold and the dark because I have a
well,
choice. I could move somewhere else in the country where it's different. And since I'm not willing to do that, I'm just going to
yep,
shut up. Like,
that's it.
it's the end of the story. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm so sad. It's so dark at 5 o'clock. So
You
it
live in
almost
New
sounds like,
England.
right? Like, this is what it is. This is what it is. It's also what it's always going to be, right? I need to decide, do I move to a warmer state where the politics are worse or do I just suck it up? So almost like I'm hearing that kind of vibe from you, which is like, everything is closed. This is what I've decided I want to do. And so I'm just going to do it. Like, that's it.
There is no other option.
There's no other option. We should
Like,
name that the episode. There is no other option. We're going.
that's it.
We're going. So was anybody ever like, "What are you doing? You were going to have a stable job with a pension and summers off, and now you're going to do this thing where you have to show up all the time to make money. This is a stupid choice." Like, was there any of that in your circle at all?
I'm laughing because it's just I feel like everybody is a naysayer until you do it. Like,
Mm.
nobody supports you
Yeah.
until you give them the proof
Yes.
that you're actually going to do it. So,
Yeah.
like, for my parents at the time, they were like, "What are you gonna be a kickboxer forever? Like, what is this? You're gonna be a fitness you can't make a job out of fitness and what are you gonna teach for it?" Like,
Yeah.
they just didn't understand. They couldn't see what I could see, and that's not their job
Right.
to see what is in my head or what I envision for myself. And that goes across the board. I didn't know anybody, especially anybody, a person of color that had ran a marathon before.
Wow.
I mean, I had seen them on TV, right? Like, but in person, zero. I knew zero people that had
Mhm.
done that. So I ran a mile for the first time and I signed up for a half marathon. That's just kind of how my brain is like, oh my gosh. I'm like, if I can run a mile, then let me just sign up for this half marathon because I don't know how I'm going to get from 1 to 13.1,
Right.
but I'm going to figure it out. Then when
Oh,
I had signed up for a half marathon, I was like, well, let me do the marathon. and, like, I'll figure out the miles as I go, which is kind of like how I've been living my life. Like, I just jump and then I'll just figure it out as I
Oh,
go.
yeah. I I love it. She's like, "Run a mile, run a half marathon, take 20 classes. I'm a fucking Pilates instructor." Like,
That's
this is just it.
yes.
This is what we're doing. The cool thing about fitness, especially if you allow it to evolve with you, is that people always need it and you
Mhm.
always need it. And
Yes.
certain things, strength training and yoga and Pilates, you could be teaching when you're 70, when
Yeah,
you're 80.
I
It does
plan
not,
to.
right? It doesn't have a shelf life,
Yeah.
which is really beautiful. And I wanna know how then all of the and, like, maybe this is, like, the same energy, but where did where did your, competitions come into play? Like, your bodybuilding, like, what made you then wanna go on stage?
Yes, that was a whole 'nother beast of its own,
That is a beast.
with goods and bads. So, I had finished a marathon,
Mhm.
and I feel like, I'm really proud of the 20-year-old me because I was like, "Oh, what," like, it was always like, "Well, what's next?" Like, I did this, so it's like, "What else can I do?" Like,
Yeah,
set the bar as high as possible and see what happens. And at the time, one of my leaders had just did her first bodybuilding competition.
okay.
And I went and I was like, "Well, this looks insane." Like, I would love to see, what my body's potential is naturally and to go through that process. And again, I didn't know anybody, especially anyone that looked like me, that had done any of these things before. And I had been going to another gym at the time, and there was this girl that they had on the wall, and I'll never forget it. She was a dark-skinned woman with dreads,
Mhm.
and she was in this bedazzled bikini, and I was like, "I want that."
Wow.
Like, I don't know who she is, but I'm like, "Oh, yeah, her." Like, if she can do it, then I can do it too. So I did my first bodybuilding competition. I did bikini and I did fit model.
Mhm.
And I was a peanut. I was so tiny because I had been a cardio bunny for so long, and it's just so different switching from being a runner to actually putting on muscle mass, and the
Mhm.
process and the time that it actually takes to put on that muscle and the amount of food you have to eat to put on that muscle. I had no idea what I was walking into.
Right.
And I had just started dabbling more with consistently strength training, so I was definitely a newbie in all of this,
Mhm.
but I was really determined. I was like, "I'm gonna win. I'm going to step on stage. It's my first show." I had no
Yeah.
idea what I was talking. "It's my first show. I'm going to win." And I'm suffering and I'm on this, Stairmaster, and I'm eating this chicken and broccoli every day, because I'm gonna win. And
Right.
so I did my first competition, and I didn't win, but I placed top 5 in fit model and I placed
Okay.
2nd in bikini.
Well, wait, can you
And
tell us real quick what's the difference between I don't know any of the levels. I just know that there's a natural and then there's like a what? Not
yes.
natural, I guess?
Yeah. So it's gonna depend on the federation that you're in. The
Okay.
federation that I chose to be a part of was much more, I'd say pageanty and
Okay.
fitness.
Okay.
So it was much softer, so you didn't have to be as hard as what you would typically see when you think of like a bodybuilder.
Like, it's not like
Um,
an Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, they need to see every freaking muscle insertion, like, every tendon, it's not that.
It's not that, no. It was close to that because you
Okay.
still have to get very conditioned and you still
Okay.
need to have a lot of muscle mass, but it wasn't as hard. It was supposed to be something that you could achieve naturally.
Okay.
Later on, I have found that a lot of the people that are competing are not natural.
So
Actually,
what does
a
not
majority
natural
of them.
mean? They are
Mhm.
taking something to help them put on
Some
mass?
type of peptide, anavar, steroids, something that's helping them develop muscle quicker, become leaner faster.
Okay.
Um,
And so
and
they
I was
just
not
lie?
it's not a lie because you're not tested.
Oh, so they're just it's like an honor system if you're entering a natural competition that you are.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
is so you can't trust people to do that because people get
No.
competitive and they wanna win at all costs.
which at the time I didn't understand. I thought this was like a natural federation and like
Mhm.
everybody that was competing was natural, and I was so
No.
naive at the time. So I really didn't understand.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got into like the pro level that I was like, "Oh, like I'm really competing against people that are not natural. Like this is a
Yeah.
completely different game at this point." And I was just not willing to risk my health
Right.
or any of the long-term effects being on those drugs. So, long story short, I did my first show. I placed top 5 and seconds, and I was devastated
Oh,
because I was like,
mama.
"Ugh," like you build it up in your head, like you're doing this, you're making these sacrifices because you're gonna win. And
Yeah.
I get backstage and my coach is like, "Oh my god," because it's not, you don't place your first show. That's not a, you don't place top 5, you don't place top 3. So it
Wow.
was still a huge deal, but in my head, I was like, failure. Like, I didn't win. That was a fail.
Ugh.
Like,
Ugh.
it, so later I had to learn,
Yeah.
like, that was actually a huge moment for me and really big and really was a huge testament to how much effort that I was willing to put in, especially in my first bodybuilding competition. I went on to do 2 more shows. I placed first and got my pro card in my second show.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Well, I left the first show saying, "Oh, no, I'm winning and I'm getting my pro card the second show." And I did.
Wow.
And then I did my first pro show a few years ago and placed top 5 among the
Wonderful.
pros. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I don't know
Yeah.
if and when I'm going to compete again. It's a lot on the body, it's a lot of time commitment. I do love that it's a very much a spiritual journey for me.
Mhm.
I learn a lot about myself with each and every prep.
Mhm.
Um, but it's a lot. It's a lot on the body, and
Can you
I'm
tell
not.
us, like, a little bit about I know it's a lot of discipline. I know
Mhm.
one of my girlfriends was like, "Ashley, like, I can't even have an apple, like, it's too many carbs." And I was like, "Oh god, I don't need." So, can you give us just, like, a snippet of the kind of discipline or, like, how what your meals would look like or what your or how often you had to lift weights or I know this is not a podcast about that, but I am
Yeah.
dying to know how far you have to push to get there.
Yeah. If you want to compete and become a pro, it's going to require a different level of discipline that at the time I didn't even know I had.
Mhm.
Um, but the great part about that process is you are stepping on stage in underwear, essentially. Um, it's bedazzled,
Yeah.
but it's still underwear, and that is terrifying. And for me, that was like enough to be like, oh, you're not gonna fuck around and find out,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, some people do and they don't take their prep seriously and they just want to get on stage and go through the process. If you are competitive, then the process is going to be very intense. You might be lifting 6 days a week, sometimes 7. You might have 7 days of cardio. That's it's going to look different for each
Oh,
person depending on your genetics, depending on your body composition. If you have more weight to lose, your process is going to look different than if you need to put on muscle mass, right?
right, okay.
Um, so
How
you
long?
and
How many months
So
is the
I
thing?
like a longer prep.
Yeah,
Some people do 12, 16 weeks.
okay.
That is not enough time. I can tell you right now to build a body, to actually go through the different phases of building, then starting to cut.
Mhm,
You need different phases and your body has to grow and actually put on muscle. So if you're not giving yourself enough time to grow, then essentially then you're just using those 12 weeks to lean out.
okay,
And then you'll get on stage and you won't have the pop, you won't have that muscle mass that is required to place really well in any federation
okay.
across the board. Even the natural federations, I feel like, have really stepped up their game and are really looking for some lines, some tie-ins, like, you have to work to put on that muscle, and it's not, you're not lifting 10 pounds weights, like, you
Right.
are going in and you're deadlifting heavy, and, I remember leg days, I would sit in my car for a few minutes because I was actually scared because it was a grueling leg day, like, I knew
Yeah,
I was gonna walk out of that gym mentally and physically exhausted, what it does on the nervous system, the
Yeah.
amount of time that you need to recover, like,
Mhm.
it's a process.
Right.
And you're eating clean. For me, my preps were 9 months to a year, so you're eating clean for 9 months to a year. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
What?
And when I say clean, I mean you're eating whole foods, you're cooking all of your meals, you're not eating out, you're eating egg whites and sweet potatoes
Yeah,
in your car.
that's a lot. That's a
Yes.
lot of because the thing behind the thing is that's a lot of time spent meal prepping, right? It's a lot of thinking ahead, planning ahead. It's your social relationships change. You go home for Thanksgiving and like you are not eating what everybody else is
Nope.
eating. It's
I'm eating
eh
fish and asparagus at the
Oh my
dinner
god.
table while everybody's eating jerk chicken and mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese.
Wow.
Yes,
And you're
it's
smelling all of it and you're seeing all of it and you just like and no alcohol, of course.
no alcohol, none. Everybody preps differently, so
Right.
I know people that would have the occasional drink or,
Yeah.
they would eat their Thanksgiving meal. I wasn't willing to risk it. Like I said, I was very much,
Yeah.
tunnel vision. I had a goal in mind. I wanted to perform my absolute best, and I didn't wanna step on stage knowing, like, "Damn, I shouldn't have eat those macaroni
Yeah,
and
I know,
cheese,"
that's
or, like,
true.
"I
Yeah,
should've
yeah.
I shouldn't have had that drink." Like, I wanted to step on stage knowing, like, you gave this 1000% and showed up as your best regardless of what the outcome is.
There is something to that. It's truly like no regrets. Did
Mhm.
it. What do you think about all of the little caffeine drinks and things that people are eating? What's the big one? All the kids are drinking. I sound so old.
Oh, the Alani
No,
Nutrition.
it's like the energy. You know what I'm
They
talking
have
about?
I don't drink energy drinks, but I feel
Nor do
like
I. This is why it's Celsius. Like a while ago, it used to be Red Bull. Everybody drank Red Bull. Now everyone's drinking Celsius. All of these low calorie, no sugar, quote unquote, like,
Mhm.
is that because I know you're also a nutrition coach. Is that something that like messes with the body, or is that something that we could be using to like push ourselves forward a little bit more? Like, should we just have a cup of coffee if we need the
Yeah.
caffeine, or like,
Well, I'll preface this by saying I am never gonna not live without my coffee, so I have a cup of coffee every single day, and that's going nowhere.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I do not believe in any of these caffeine drinks, and during my preps, I did not use them. Some people
mm,
would use, like, a pre-workout powder.
yeah,
Um, I'm very interested in seeing the correlation between caffeine intake and the amount of people that are on anxiety medications right now,
mm,
that are experiencing real discomfort and having trouble focusing with
right,
the amount of caffeine that they're taking in.
right,
Um, I also had coaches that were very holistic as well, so I wasn't having any of those caffeine drinks. It causes bloating. It causes, a disruption in your gut microbiome. So I wasn't taking part in any of those. And whenever I have a client, I always try to coach not to drink any of those. But again, everybody to each his own. You have to figure out what's best for you.
right,
Um, but I'm not about that, no. I would
yeah,
say big and no.
yeah,
Stick to
yeah,
a cup of coffee, cup of tea, and call it a day. You don't need anything else, and if you do, then maybe we need to look at how you're nourishing your body if you can't get through the day
right,
with
right,
enough
right,
energy. Then we have other things that we should probably be focusing on. How's your sleep? I can't imagine that these people are sleeping very well drinking 3 Celsiuses a day.
right.
Um, so there's other things that we can talk about when it comes to energy.
And that's part of what you do as a part of Mad Soulful, right? So if I came to you and um I wanted a holistic program. I'm like, "Midori, help
Mhm.
me, like, I have XYZ goals for my body," or do I have to say, "I want training and nutrition," or is training and nutrition just, like, stock, part of the program?
Yes, they come together. I don't believe you can do one without the other well.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I mean, you can eat really well, but if you're not exercising, then you're probably not going to feel great.
Right.
And you can exercise all day long, but if you're not properly nourishing your body, you're also not going to feel great.
So
So, part of my job as a holistic health coach is to not just look at exercise and nutrition, but look at the whole person. So, during our consultations, during our coaching calls. It's a part of the process. How are you sleeping? How
Yeah.
many steps have you gotten in? How's your water intake?
Yeah.
And again, these are a conversation and it's a collaboration. It's not me telling you what you should be doing, but I'm asking you questions so that you can get curious with yourself so
Mhm.
that you can start to make different decisions.
Do you notice that people, um how do I wanna frame this? That people have a hard time doing the simple things. What happens to me is that people will ask about how to get to these big, massive changes, but then
Mhm.
when you're like, "How much water are you drinking?" They're like, "Oh, well, and it's
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm like, "No, no, no, don't we're not getting to right? We're not running the marathon if you're
Right.
dehydrated, right?" Do you find that people kind of sometimes need a coach for an accountability to start getting the small things done well, or are your clients more advanced and you're kind of taking them to the next level?
I have clients that are starting at different stages.
Okay.
I would say one of the biggest struggles as a coach is to get people to focus on the foundational habits because those are the things that matter the most.
Yeah.
I genuinely, and this is a hill I will die on, if you are nailing your sleep, if you are properly nourishing your body, if you are getting water in, and if you're just hitting your steps daily, you'll probably like the way that you look. You'll probably also like the way that you feel.
Hmm.
Then we can really get into let's train hard. Let's make sure that we're properly, you know, hitting your lifts. Like, let's make sure that, we're getting specific cardio in. But if you're not nailing those very basic things, you're never going to hit your peak performance in anything else.
Right.
Like, none of it really matters if you're not doing these things. So, most of what I'm doing when I'm coaching people is getting them to track their habits, and tracking is a huge part of my coaching process. You can't hit a target that you don't see.
Right.
And if you're going to really develop a mindfulness and awareness in yourself and in your process, then you need to have a metric to track those things. Um, so that's a huge part of the process of my coaching style.
Mhm.
So we are going to focus on water. You're going to hear me say 1,000 times, well, where are your steps at for the day? How'd you sleep last night? That's a part of, um, their online check in every single
Right.
week. Those questions are asked. And then when we're also doing our coaching calls, we're going to dive into those a little bit more. Um, what's great is when people start eating better,
Mhm.
they start sleeping better,
Right.
they have more energy to want to move more. So then all of those other things start to kind of fall into place. But it really comes down with building that house, building that strong foundation to
Mhm.
start before we start really getting into, your training split for the day. Like none of this stuff matters if you're
Right.
not doing the bare minimum.
Hmm. How do you when people have a lot of, like, stuff around their bodies and
Mm.
moving and food and stuff like that, like, does it change your process? Specifically, I'm wondering if someone's listening to this and they're like, "Wow, I would love to work with her, but I'm feeling embarrassed because I don't do XYZ or I don't have XYZ or, I just carry so much." Like, how do you coach somebody that has perhaps more to overcome?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And the first thing that comes to mind for me is, you have to meet yourself where you're at.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people are comparing themselves to the younger version of themselves or to who they saw online or who they were in high school. Like right now, we need to focus on the version of you that you are right now today and making them the happiest, healthiest version of themselves, which is going to come down to making sure that you're taking care of yourself. Prepping your food is an extra step, but that is the ultimate level of self care, making sure that you're taken care of, that you're nourished, that you're getting the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that you need on a cellular level so that you can be an existing body. in this world. Making sure that you're properly hydrated is self care. Making sure that you're walking and moving this body that was designed to move. So, these are all things that are self care. And it's coming from a place of deep love um, and having deep compassion for yourself as well.
Right.
And then another thing is, whenever I'm coaching anybody, it's never all or nothing. It's all
Mm.
or something. It's
Ooh.
all or something because I struggle with perfectionism, if you couldn't tell, as well.
Nope, no judgment though, like, it's okay.
I have extremely high standards for myself as well. And I heard another coach say, high standards without self-compassion is just self-bullying,
Yeah,
and that has, like, really like, it's etched into my soul. I can't take credit for that quote, that was Hattie Boydell, she's amazing, she's also a bodybuilder. But I found that all or something helps you move through those moments where you might be feeling stuck, right? Like, maybe you can't get your full lift in, but can you go for a 15-minute walk? Maybe you can't drink, 100 ounces of water, but maybe you can fill up this cup that's right next to you. And everybody thinks it's these big, gigantic efforts or actions that are going to make a change. But it's really like if you just get in the habit of filling up your cup or set a timer on your phone or after meals going on 10-minute walks, that's what's gonna build that momentum. That's what's gonna keep things sustainable.
yeah.
That's how you're gonna be consistent, and that's how you're gonna be successful in your health goals, but then just all around just feeling good in your body, which is what we all want at the end of the day.
Thank you for that. All or something is going to be, like, my mantra for the rest of my life, like,
Yes, all or
that was
something. Because sometimes
so
you wanna go hard, right? Like,
I
sometimes you're
know,
like, "Let's go. I'm going to the gym. I'm getting my walks in. I'm doing," and then life happens. Like,
right, it always does,
someone gets sick, your car breaks down, like,
all the
something
time.
is going to happen, and I can sit there and be like, "Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Throwing up my hands. That's enough. I tried. Guess I'll
Yep,
start again on Monday." Or I could be like, "Okay, my dog just puked all over the carpet and he's not feeling well. Let me take him to the vet. And when I come home, let me jump on my walking pad for 15 minutes."
right,
I'm still committed. I'm still devoted to the goals that I set to myself, but I'm constantly adapting to those
right.
goals.
The devotion isn't always following it as written, it's just, like, not giving
Mhm.
up,
Exactly.
right. Oh my god, I
Exactly.
love it, I love it. Is there something specifically for women getting strong, staying strong as we age that you could give us?
Yes. Oh, you need to strength train. I'm
Yes.
going to hold your hand when I say this. I love you. And I'm saying this from a place of deep love and deep compassion. You need to strength train. It doesn't have to be 5 days a week. It doesn't have to be 3 hours long, but we are living in a physical world. And at the end of the day, after the age of 30, you are losing muscle and bone, whether you want to admit that or not, unless you're fighting to keep it or grow it, because you can still grow as you get older. Um, but you need to strength train and don't be afraid of the weights. Again, meet yourself where you're at. What's heavy for you is going to be different than what's heavy for me. But the point is that we're progressing over time. We shouldn't be doing the same 5, 10 pound weights forever. We need to get comfortable lifting heavy, grabbing those 40s, pushing yourself to hit different performance goals because that's what's going to help keep you strong and healthy. The
Mm,
other day, I'm just gonna say a quick story. I was
yeah.
walking my dog down the hill. I have a little French bulldog. He's 27 pounds. He's a little ham. I absolutely adore him. But he decides sometimes he doesn't want to walk anymore. So we're a mile into our walk,
Oh my
and
god.
he decides he's not gonna walk. And he's the dog that like lays flat on the floor and he's like, "I'm done." I had to carry my 27-pound dog home
For a
for
mile.
a mile. I was sweat. You should have seen. I was sweat. My face was red. I
I would
came
be
in. My
so mad.
partner is like, "What the heck just happened?" He's not, he stopped walking. Like, I had to carry him. But after I felt cooled down a little bit, I was like, "Oh my god! Like, thank God I'm strong."
Mhm.
I want to be a mother one day. What if my kid decides to stop riding their bike and I have to carry them and their bike home? Like, we are living in a physical world that we need to be prepared for. And I think putting yourself in a position where you're not strong is leaving you vulnerable to be weak, and you deserve better than that.
Amen. Amen. Period. And
Period.
you will have to carry the kid and the bike. I'm just gonna, like, take all the mystery out. Yes, you will, and it'll be awkward. And yeah, you will be like, "Thank God I'm strong because my whole
Mhm.
body is contorted, but I know how to breathe and activate my TA, and I'm doing it." Like,
Yes.
yep, it'll happen. It'll happen. Um, is there anything that you wanted to say that I did not ask you as we wrap this
Mm.
podcast up?
Um, there's nothing I think in specific that I want to say, but I will say that if you're looking for a hobby to get into for 2026, make it be cooking.
Ooh,
Make it be
okay.
cooking because at the end of the day, if you're concerned about your health and wellness, then you need to be preparing your food. And a lot of that's going to come from preparing your food yourself so that you're aware of the ingredients
Mhm.
that are going into your body and you're in control of what's going into your body. Um, and I think it is a lost art.
Agree.
I
Would
feel like
agree.
we've been fed this lie that food is supposed to be convenient and it's supposed to be easy and quick and fast, and that everything else is more important. But I don't think that anything is more than important than our health. So I would say make cooking your hobby. So it's something you're excited to do. It gives you creative space to kind of explore and get curious,
Yeah.
experiment with different spices and herbs and textures. And um, the more you can enjoy it, the less work it's going to feel like.
That's true.
So that would be the last thing I leave people with.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I think that that is I think that it is such valuable advice, and I'm picturing little Zion, he loves to make eggs now. It fills my heart up because this is an essential life skill, and I want him to have joy around it too.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up I feel so blessed. I grew up in a Jamaican and Cape Verdean household,
Mm,
so everybody
good.
cooked. I grew up watching aunties and uncles and
Yeah,
and I hated cooking growing up. I felt like it was so much work and I didn't want to take the time to do it. And like as an adult, I'm so grateful that I kind of just learned through osmosis, like just being
yeah,
in the
yeah,
space where
same.
everybody's always preparing food. And it's such a life skill. Sorry, that's my dogs.
No, that's
Um,
okay. Okay.
so I'm so glad that you're passing that on to your son. And it's something that he can pass on for generations as well, or at
Exactly.
least know how to take care of himself on a very basic level.
If it's just that, if he's just not one of these like boys out here that need someone to do everything for them, I will
Uh,
be pleased.
yes.
Um, but thank you so much for saying yes to being on this podcast.
Of
I appreciate
course.
it. I appreciate your energy and your positivity and like you're relentless, but in a way that is still kind of like gentle and compassionate and kind, and I appreciate that being a part of like my sphere right now. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me, Ashley. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Tell everybody your handles, where they could find you, all of the things.
Yep. So you can find me on Midori.a on Instagram. And then my business page is at MADSoleful. So that's MADSoleful. And you can also find me on MADSoleful.com as well.
Perfect. All right, everybody, go find Midori, follow, support, chat with her. She's so kind. Send a DM, listen to this episode, share this episode, rate and review this episode. We love you and goodbye.
Bye, Ash. Thank you.
Thank you.